wani gwangwadanci ko dogon magana ba. Amma ba za mu manta ba da yi maka godiya, da yi maka addu'a mu wannan jiha ta Yobe da jihar Borno. Dalilin shi ne a shekaru da suka wuce can baya mun ɗanɗana kudar mu a tsakanin wannan jiha da jihar Borno, kuma mun yi ta roƙon Allah, malamai a ko'ina, masallatai, gwamnoninmu sun yi ta ƙoƙari suna aika wa malamai abubuwan sadaka a ko'ina ana addu'a. Muna cewa Allah ka ɗauke mana jarrabawar da kai mana, kai har Makka da Madina da filin Arfa da Muna duka bayan da ƙungiyar yana addu'a ba. Har wata rana bana mantawa cikin hijira ta miladiya 2014 muna Mina, mun gama aikin hajji za mu dawo, mun jagoranci wata addu'a ta musamman a cikin jihar mu ta Yobe. Muna addu'a nan kowa da kowa.
I would like you to make sure that you keep Ahmed Bola Tinubu.
President Buhari leads APC campaign train to Adamawa.
I just made withdrawal, and as you can see, this old note I got from the ATM machine.
Correspondent investigates compliance with CBN's directive on dispensing new 200 naira notes from January 9th, 2023.
We have assembled 2 helicopters. However, to have pace made in Nigeria helicopter, everything manufactured locally is still ongoing.
First made in Nigeria helicopter ready for inauguration as Naseni breaks new grounds. Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Michael Olaloye is in the Center of Excellence, Lagos. You can follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, and you can follow all our social media platforms on the handles displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari has described as fulfilling and satisfying that he will be leaving a legacy of a stabilized national security order across Nigeria in fulfillment of his vow on coming to power in 2015. This was while inaugurating various legacy projects executed by the Mai Mala Buni administration and the Nigerian police force in Damaturu, Yobe State, and that report will come in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Nigerians to develop strong confidence in the country, its security institutions, and never allow terrorist groups to destabilize Nigeria again. Speaking at the palace of the Emir of Damaturu, Hashimi II Eric Alemi, the president said government will continue to protect the rights of every Nigerian child to education, particularly the children displaced from their homes by Boko Haram. The president expressed delight at the return of peace and normalcy in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, and thanked Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State and his Borno State counterpart, Professor Babagana Zulum, for their persistence in reconstructing development infrastructure destroyed by terrorists. The president noted that there was a deliberate attempt to destroy Nigeria, but God did not permit it, adding that God has helped Nigeria to bounce back. The president also commended members of the armed forces and the Nigerian police force for their sacrifice in protecting the country. Governor Buni told the president that in the heat of the battle against insurgency, the palace of the Emir of Damaturu was overrun by terrorists. The Emir also thanked the president for improved security in the country. And again, President Muhammadu Buhari has given the challenge to the people of Adamawa State, who he describes as progressive in nature, to prove it once again by voting massively to retain the governing APC at the center and return the land of beauty to the rank of the progressives. Speaking at a campaign rally for the party's candidates in Yola, the president said under no circumstances should they allow the good fortune which is awaiting the state in 2023 to elude them. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
Adamawa, the land of beauty, is the first state President Muhammadu Buhari will be visiting to campaign for his party since the formal launch of the vote-seeking crusade in Plateau State on November 15 last year. His wife, Aisha Buhari, is an indigene here, and the state has an opportunity to set a record in the history of Nigerian politics and annals of democracy by electing the first ever female governor.
There hasn't been a lady governor since we started the system. We are going to present one, and she is going to win, God willing.
The president, who thanked the people of Adamawa for reposing their trust in him during the last two presidential elections, wants them to continue with this spirit, remain loyal to the party, and support its presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I advise you to please be focused. APC came into the political field to make sure that Nigerians are recognized as the owners of the country. They are nobody's slaves. They are nobody's boys. They are fellow Nigerians. I would like you to make sure that you treat Ahmed Bola Tinubu.
President Buhari used the opportunity to assure the nation's youth that they mean so much to the governing APC and should therefore remain patriotic as well as true to the ideals of decency, respect and accountability.
Don't allow fraudulent people to come and dominate your locality.
Similarly, President Buhari did not mince words as to where his interest lies when he paid a courtesy visit to the paramount ruler of Adamawa, Lamido Fombina, Dr. Muhammadu Barkindo Aliyu Mustafa.
Speaking of spectacular candidate, unfortunately, the government, we are here to give it our moral support. For those who are opposing us, we should be best of luck.
Both the Lamido, Dr. Barkindo Aliyu Mustafa, and the governor of the state, Ahmadu Umaru Funtiri, were unanimous that the people of Adamawa are indebted to the Buhari administration for the unprecedented support towards the development of the state in various sectors of the economy. From Yola, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC says it is ready to reclaim Adamawa State to join other progressive states for rapid development in the country. Ms. Baut and Wahab reports.
The APC presidential campaign got a big boost in Yola. The big fishes came to swim with Asiwaju, none bigger than today's helmsman, President Muhammadu Buhari. Buhari's physical support an attestation to APC's strong bonds of friendship and loyalty. Yola is a metaphoric hotplate of beans for the president. One of APC's main opponents is from here. They are also the president's in-laws. So, the dance here is a careful one.
God has brought the change we have been looking for.
APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu is, however, on a mission, and it says he offers renewed hope of economic, educational, and agricultural revitalization while ensuring adequate security that allows the speedy development of the country.
All of you expect that we will get you engaged properly. We will pay attention to your needs. Unity, working together, we will present. Bola Tinubu will stand up.
vote us and we would create more job opportunities in Adamawa State.
Having lost the state to PDP in the 2019 general elections after ruling the state twice, APC hopes to reclaim popularity here in the coming elections. Locally, it has an unprecedented joker, a first Madam Governor, perhaps. From Yola, Musbao, and Wahab, NTA News.
The Labour Party has evolved a new campaign strategy known as Be Direct towards mobilizing more supporters for the party to succeed at the polls come 2023. The campaign was officially flagged off by its vice presidential candidate, Senator Yusuf Baba Ahmed, for the Northwest States held in Sokoto. Alhat Abdullahi reports.
The event brought together leaders of the party's support groups from northwest states in the country. The vice presidential candidate, Senator Baba Ahmed, party stalwarts from the states and national that include Mohammed Zarewa, Senator Victor Law, Hawa Bukar, Sokoto State Governorship candidate Amin Ahmed, and Ifeanyi Waziago were also at the event. It was meant to unveil the party's new campaign strategy known as Be Direct in the Northwest Zone and mobilize more support for the party to succeed at the polls. The idea is to canvass for more support for the party through interactive discussion with the presidential and the vice presidential candidates with the electorate at the grassroots across the country.
And I assure you, hold on, responsible, we will change that. Which means 2023 is the year of the Labour Party.
The party's stalwarts extolled the contributions of Peter Obi to the development of humanity. They believed that Peter Obi is capable of providing good leadership for the country. They called on supporters to mobilize more support for the party, shun money politics and thuggery toward better polls. The party also received the senatorial candidate of NNPP in the state and his followers. Featured was an interactive session with some electorate on the new campaign strategy. Similar campaign is expected to be flagged off across the country. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Presidential Campaign Council of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has been inaugurated with a mandate to ensure the victory of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. The 1,053-member council has Folashade Aliu as secretary. David Ire reports.
The presidential candidate of the party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is the chairman of the council, with members of the National Executive Committee and Board of Trustees enlisted into the management. All former and serving governors, National Assembly members, as well as ministers who are members of the party are also to serve in the council. The party believes that the massive support and reception it has received in the ongoing presidential campaigns nationwide will translate into victory for Kwankwaso in the election.
I want to call on all Nigerians to join hands with the PCC and all committees of the PCC to continue legal organization of supporters and convincing from voters to ensure the success of the new Nigerian project. We are convinced that the participant as a leader is a clear understanding of the challenges facing our nation and the leader the nation has been.
The party wants the Presidential Campaign Council to sustain its ongoing grassroots mobilization strategy through vigorous door-to-door campaign, road shows, and town hall meetings in rural areas.
The chances are very bright. If you see some of the clips of what happened when we were visiting some of the states, you could not think the whole station was back.
A fundraising portal for donations towards the presidential campaign was also launched. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says no final list of candidates was released on Sunday, 8th January 2023, as reported in some sections of the media. INEC, in a statement, notes that no new publication of the final list of candidates has been released as reported and urges the public to disregard the information. For the record, the statement says the final list of candidates for the 2023 general election was published at least 150 days before the election, which was on the 20th September 2022, while that of governorship and state assembly elections was published 2 weeks later on 4th October 2022. There cannot be a final list of candidates with just 46 days to the general election, except for names published as substitutions for candidates nominated earlier in compliance with court order. The statement urges political parties, litigants, and the public to be guided accordingly. This is the network news on NTA. Stay tuned for more reports after some messages.
Mr. Dominic Katsina, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, CFR, wishes to express deep appreciation to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, and Governor Bello Masari of Katsina State for their support and presence through representations for his turbaning as the Sardauna Katsina. He also expresses gratitude to the Emir of Katsina, His Highness Abdulmumin Kabir Usman, for the appointment, as well as thank the Presidents of Niger, Chad, Guinea-Bissau, and Ghana for their high level of delegations sent to the event. The Sardauna also appreciates President of the Senate, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, National Security Advisor, patrons for the turbaning, members of the National Assembly, Federal Executive Council, the diplomatic community, captains of industry, Katsina Emirate Council, district heads, members of the organizing committee, trade unions, and professional groups, media, and others too numerous to mention. Ambassador Abubakar also appreciates all those that made the pre-turbaning event of the two-day conference, polo, and golf successful. The Sardauna reiterates his commitment to community and national service, including strengthening bonds of unity among Nigerians through his new position.
Yes, that's called from blue. When there's 3.2 front candle.
Guess what? I won a car. I won a generator by participating in the Festival of Joy promo by Glow.
Hey, don't do this one for me. To make it that baby sewing machine.
I won generator last year. This year I won for
It's a celebration like no other, with prizes like no other. 20 new houses to be won, 24 brand new cars, 200 sewing machines, 100 generators, 1,000 rechargeable fans. Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial star 611 hash now.
Our country one better. Our country one better. Go do one for us. Mama can move for a better Nigeria. Good life in God. Now you we want to. Now you we need.
Yes, so people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better one shell for the country. So they ready to put Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria. Our people don't look the matter well said. Only Bola Tinubu don't do what it everybody fit see. Now you get the experience where you go fit use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our picking them. Bola Tinubu don't get a better plan to chase down work for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace for all the country people of Nigeria. But these and many other better things where in don't vocalize. It could make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashif Shettima as vice president. Vote NPC, the party where show groom.
Welcome to the Airtel side of life, where you're covered in a variety of reliable ways. Get a router for just 10,000 naira with up to 240GB or this MiFi for 7,500 naira with up to 150GB or this for 5,000 naira with up to 125GB bonus data. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by Airtel, the smartphone network.
The 17th edition of the PNB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire. Date, Tuesday, 10th January 2023. Time, 10:30 a.m. Venue, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be broadcast live by NTA, FRCN, and VON, and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Registration for UTME into Nigerian tertiary institutions begins January 14th to 14th February 2023.
Candidates must check their eligibility before commencing registration, scanning the QR code provided by JAM for the e-brochure and e-syllabus.
Each candidate must create a profile using only one phone number.
Simply send your NIN by SMS to either 55019 or 66019. A profile code of 10 characters is received by the candidate to purchase the UTME/DEEP. Candidates can buy the e-prints from the banks or the vending agents through their e-wallets. Registration fee, inclusive of all relevant charges, is 6,700 naira with mock exam or 5,700 naira without mock exam. Candidates are not to pay any other fee at the CBT center, as the fee stated is consolidated. Direct entry registration costs 4,700 naira and starts 20th February to 20th April 2023. JAM, enhancing academic excellence.
If you're just joining us, this is the Network News on NTA, and we have an update on the train station attack in Edo State. The Minister of State for Transportation, Ademola Adewale Adegowe, and the Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Fides Okiria, have visited the Igweben railway station in Edo State with an assurance that further steps will be taken to avert further occurrence. Meanwhile, the Edo Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Chris Neheri, has announced that 6 of the 31 persons abducted at the train station have regained their freedom.
The minister says the railway corporation will work with the host communities to ensure that security is beefed up at the railway stations, urging the host communities to see the facilities as their own.
I will see you, this community, the entire and under your leadership, take proactive steps to ensure that federal government infrastructure within the locality is protected. And to this end today, we have decided and we have mandated the NRC through the MD of NRC. Thank God is a son, he is doing well, but mandated him on the immediate establishment of what we call the Nigerian Railway Corporation Host Communities Relations Committee.
While they are planning work for the plan to ensure that we have some communication against the process.
The entourage of the minister also paid a courtesy visit to the palace of the Omoji of Igweben Kingdom, His Royal Highness Izuji Nigeria the First. In Benin, Ogochkuka Onan, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari will leave a legacy of probity and good governance, says the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who stated this at the 16th edition of the PNB 2015 to 2023 scorecard series in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The Buhari administration is leaving a legacy of a social investment program that is unprecedented in the whole of Africa.
Since assuming office in May 2015, the APC administration, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, has set standards that will pass as legacies in the history of administration in the country.
The Buhari administration is leaving a legacy of putting Nigeria on the path of self-sufficiency in many staples, including rice. Fertilizer blending plants in the country have increased astronomically from 10 in 2015 to 142 today. The number of rice mills in the country has also increased from under 10 in 2015 to about 80 today. Little wonder that Nigeria, which was the #1 export destination for rice in 2014, according to Thai authorities, is now ranked as number 79. This is why we cannot understand the campaign promise of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to throw open our borders if elected, because this will simply reverse all the gains of the past 7 years plus.
On security, Lai Mohammed explains.
The Buhari administration is leaving a legacy of a revamped security sector in the face of unprecedented security challenges in the country. Today, the Nigerian military is being restored to its glorious past, thanks to the President's foresight and doggedness in equipping the various services. and this has made it possible for the military to tackle insurgency and all other security challenges facing the country. Not only that, they looted dry all the funds earmarked to buy arms and ammunition for the military.
For infrastructure, the minister was quick to remind those he described as naysayers who have no reason to criticize the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration.
We dare any part of this country to say that it has not benefited from the programs of the Buhari administration in one way or another.
He equally touched on the administration's anti-corruption drive.
Irrespective of the antics of the opposition, President Muhammadu Buhari's legacy is assured. Naysayers, most of whom are closer to opposition members, masquerading as objective analysts, can continue to snipe at us. They can continue to trumpet only the negative, both real and imagined, but they cannot erase those legacies. They cannot rewrite the history of these past 7 years plus.
There are more legacies, the minister explained, which has to do with the laws of the land. The minister, who was at the 16th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration scorecard series, is the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipre Silva. In Abuja, Anthony Flosson, NTA News.
And on the scorecard, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, has applauded the present government for successfully passing landmark statutes like the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Acts, as well as the Petroleum Industry Act, saying they have positioned the oil and gas sector for global competitiveness and sustainable growth. The minister also says the federal government has secured funding for the rehabilitation of 3 existing refineries to enhance the nation's domestic refining capacity.
Issued licenses for prospective investors for the establishment of refineries. We are also involved in the rehabilitation of existing refineries, and NNPC's equity holding in Dangote refinery. You know, NNPC had to take 20% in Dangote refinery and 3 other refineries to increase our footprint in that sector.
The total rehabilitation of the refinery will take us 2 months from the date of the contract. Typical of every refinery rehabilitation will get invests and by plants. Our promise is to start off the oil plant process and then the operate of this activity by the last quarter of 2022. But it's not practical, but we start the next activity.
Commenting on glass flare commercialization, the minister says it is at the final stage of award of flare points to potential winners, and the ministry has also encouraged more indigenous participation by facilitating crude access and ease of license approval. Another achievement the petroleum minister says is the 5% reduction in the cost of crude extraction, which was also surpassed. With all the achievements and the drive towards the National Gas Expansion Program, the Minister of State also says the ministry is actualizing President Muhammadu Buhari's aspirations captured in the 9-point agenda. President Muhammadu Buhari is to inaugurate the first made-in-Nigeria helicopter among other projects of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure in Kaduna. The Executive Vice Chairman of the agency, Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna, disclosed this while inspecting the site of the ongoing construction of the Naseni Automotive Supply Industrial Park project in Kaduna. Haruna Mohammed reports.
6 hectares of land overwhelmed by bushes and shrubs, but in the next couple of months, this place will be a heaven of helicopters. A hangar is expected to spring up and helicopters made in Nigeria will occupy its shade, and that explains why the Executive Vice Chairman, National Agency for